Hey folks, and welcome to the video review of Chogokin, King Robo Mickey and Friends. This entire set was purchased at Hobby Link Japan. Now this is the box set that it comes in. This is the only way you can get it. And I just want to show off the box here real quick. You've got the different mechs for the Disney characters. There we have Steamboat Willie, Goofy, Donald, Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, and Pluto with his Doghouse. Back of the box is typical Japanese flair. So as you can see, we have everything combining into Chogokin King Mickey. Bottom of the box is this nice looking shot. I would love to get a high-res version of this picture just because I think it looks really, really cool. I love the whole Power Rangers Disney aspect we've got going here, and I can't keep my hand steady, so we're going to open this sucker up and take a look at everything inside. Along with the awesome picture that I talked about, the full name of the set is Chogokin, Chogattai, Kingrobot, Mickey and Friends. That's the full name of it. The just Chogokin, King Mickey and Friends is what is the name showing up on a lot of the stores, more of a US-friendly version of the name. Before we get into the robot, we're going to take a look at what else comes in the set. First off is this little paper pamphlet of the dangers and hidden warnings of how not to kill yourself and the things to watch out for with the combining of the unit. It also comes with this little hidden thing. I haven't been to this website yet, so I will try it. Just give you guys a look at the website there. It's more of a marketing thing. The direction book is nice, thick, and very well detailed. I love it when the directions are nice and big. And then finally, there's this. Sealed envelope. Let's take a look and see what's in here. Oh man, I didn't want to rip that open. So, what do we have here? Postcards! So we have Mickey, Jet Mickey, Minnie in Sky Minnie, Donald in Diver Donald, Daisy Duck in Aqua Daisy, Pluto in Dash Pluto, and Goofy in Land Goofy. So these are all postcards of the different Disney characters in their King Mickey robot suits. I love these suits. I don't know why I like these suits so much, but they do cover the gambit of Power Ranger and Super Sentai colors, except orange. There's never been an orange Ranger. There's been all the others there's been a Ranger of, but never orange. So here we have the figures out of the box, and I have to say the detailing on these guys are amazing. We'll be taking a look at each one individually up close so you guys can get a good idea of all the detailing involved. Now there are a few minor quibbles with each of the figures. They all seem to have a little bit of difficulty standing up, but a little bit of fiddling and a little bit of just posing and moving some pieces here and there, you can get them to stand without any real issues. The only big problem I have is Goofy, and that is because he doesn't really have very strong ankles. These hinges that are on his feet are pretty darn loose, and this guy is heavy. I would say he's about 1/4 pound alone. I mean, he is not a light little doggy. So, the other thing I wanted to mention was the size of these figures. They're pretty small, actually. So, here's Starscream from the Fall of Cybertron line, comparatively. And here's Mickey. Whoops, sorry, Minnie. He's about half the size of a Fall of Cybertron figure. Now, normally that would bother me given the cost of these figures, but it really doesn't in this case because these figures are of incredible quality. They hold together well, they all pose pretty well, which I'll show you individually, and they just look fantastic. The detailing, the color, Bandai have nailed the Disney characters here, in my opinion. The first figure we're going to take a look at in detail is Dash Pluto. Now, Dash Pluto does form the left leg of the unit along with parts of the Doghouse. We'll take a look at the Doghouse, which is over here in just a second. Dash Pluto is a great little figure. Yes, there is some plastic marring from the assembly process, but overall, it looks great. I love the look of this little thing. It's a lot of fun, and it really nails the look of Pluto. It just works for me. Now, all of these figures have an interesting little gimmick where you can see the piloting, and I will show you that here in just a second. But, like I said, the Pluto figure, really, really cool looking. I also love the little fins on his, or the little wings on his feet. So the gimmick I was talking about and referring to was there is on the back of the head, and on the back of the head of all of the figures, this little slider. And watch his eyes. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up, but if you slide the thing over, you'll see that the cockpit comes into view. And there is a very, very tiny little Pluto in the cockpit. That kind of detailing is just freaking awesome. Next up, we're taking a look at the Doghouse itself. And the Doghouse is actually made up of two things. This Mickey Triton sword thing that attaches easily to the side, and the actual Doghouse. Now, the Doghouse itself, from the look of it, I think this is going to form the upper leg of the left leg, the torso of King Robo Mickey, a weapon, and then a shield and the weapon. Unfortunately, since it doesn't really have anything on the right side, it just kind of dangles and has a tendency to fall over. Fiddling with it and playing with it a little bit, you can get it to sit. Well, it's going to dangle, so I like to lean it up against something to keep it from leaning. So I think the Doghouse is a little bit silly, but I understand what they're going for here. The next bot we are taking a look at is Land Goofy. Now, Land Goofy is not only the tallest, but he is also the heaviest of all of the figures. And the reason he's so heavy is all this black you see here forming the chest and upper torso, that's all die-cast metal. It's really freaking heavy. Poseability-wise, you're really not going to get much poseability out of this guy. His head can move, his arms can move, so head can move up and down, arms can move up and down, wrists turn, and then that's about it because of the issue I have with the ankles earlier that I told you about. He also has the gimmick where you can slide the slider across and get a little Goofy pilot. So we will do that right now, if I can just get my finger on it. So, yep, I don't know how well that's showing up, but there is a little Goofy pilot in there. So cool. Other than that, there's really nothing else to talk about with this figure other than he looks like a giant robot Goofy. I can't think of anything wrong with that. Next, we're going to take a look at Diver Donald and Aqua Daisy. And the reason I'm taking a look at both of them at the same time is because they're practically the same figure. And there went the one issue I have with both of these figures. They have no heels, so they have a tendency to fall over very easily. And it's not from the fact that they're butt heavy or anything. They just have no heels. Other than that, though, these figures are really cool looking. I kind of like the ducks the best. They just ooze character. And let's face it, Donald is a superstar. And, well, then there's Daisy. She's not nearly as big a superstar as Donald. But both of these figures are molded very nicely, even though they're supposedly the same figures. And they form the same, or they perform the same function in the giant robot. It's really nice that Bandai took the effort to really give them unique personality to each other. I can't stop gushing over this set. It just is amazing the quality that Bandai, when they really put their minds to it, can generate. Overall, as I said, these figures are very cool, even if they're on the small side. I love the detailing. Again, we have the pilot gimmick, and this one's a little bit tough to do because there's a little bit of his head feathers getting in the way of your finger, but you can get in there and turn it around, and there is a little pilot Donald. Same goes for Daisy, but nothing really gets in the way, so there's Daisy's eyes, and then turn it, and there is a little pilot Daisy. Man, you can even see the bow in her pilot outfit. Just, man, the attention to detail on these guys is incredible. Finally, we're taking a look at Jet Mickey and Sky Minnie. Again, the detailing on these figures is incredible. Minnie does unfortunately have a bit of a backpack, and that does cause a little bit of issue with top heaviness along the back, and the fact that she really doesn't have much in the way of heels except these weird little rocket struts does have some negative connotations where she does end up flat on her butt sometimes. But otherwise, Minnie is a really, really good figure. I just can't get over the detailing on both of these ones. It's so good. Mickey is just a fantastic figure all on its own. I'm gushing, I realize that, but I just can't get over how good these figures look. Poseability-wise, in the head on all of these figures, you're going to have a little bit of poseability. Unfortunately, Mickey has a little bit too much poseability, but that's part of the transformation. Again, Bandai, when they really put effort into it, they can make some absolutely gorgeous figures. So, just a quick look at Minnie's. Sometimes getting these things to move is not easy, but taking a quick look at her pilot seat, you can see a little Minnie in there, though it is really hard to see because of the light and getting stuck or getting blocked by the giant heart on top of her robot head. And for Mickey, we're going to run into something similar, but give me just a second to get that over. And there is a Mickey in there. I won't push it all the way over just because it's going to be hard to move it. All right. So as you can see, all of the robots have an ability to view the pilot in the actual robot. I can't even tell you how awesome that is. Now that we've had a chance to take a look at each of these figures up close and see the amazing amount of detail that Bandai has put into these, it's time to get into the combination sequence. Now this is pretty darn involved, and it is a little bit difficult given the size of these characters. And some of the stuff flips and flops around, but we'll get through it and you'll see what kind of combination we come up with. It's pretty cool. So, the one thing I do want to mention is even though these figures are very small by US standards, and that these figures they have some minor problems with standing up, I still think this set is really, really cool. Just having the Power Ranger feel with the Disney characters and Disney Zords is just something special. To start the combination sequence, we are going to begin with Mr. Donald Duck, or Diver Donald. First, take the head and perform an exorcist move and turn it all the way around. Put the arms forward like that, and then there is a joint just above the fist where you want to bend the arms, or lower arms, in to the chest. Take the head and rotate the head so it's pointing straight up like that. Then we're going to take this whole section, arms and upper torso, and we're going to roll it back onto the back feathers, like that. And then take the back feathers and turn them all the way around. Reach underneath and push the feet up, and then rotate the feet back like that. Flip out the fists, and then fold the feet up underneath. Fold the feet back that way, and then fold the fist down. And then there is a little connector peg that we will fold out like that. So there we have the first fist formed. Oh, now we gotta turn the fist around, like that. So here we have the first arm ready to go. Next up is Aqua Dasyam. We're gonna do the same transformation. Turn the head around and fold it up like that. Take the arms, put them forward, and fold the hands onto the chest like that. Then take the whole torso and rotate it back along the back duck feathers. Take the bottom part of the robot and twist it all the way around 180 degrees. Fold the feet up towards the head, and then fold the feet straight pointing down. Reach into the feathers and flip out the fist, and rotate the butt feathers down. Fold out the connector piece, and then turn the fist around. And there we go, we have another fist ready to combine. For Land Goofy, we're going to take the feet and combine the feet together. Take the head, rotate the head around, and then rotate it up again like we did with Donald and Daisy. Take the entire bottom part of the figure and fold it up until it kind of bonks into the rear of the head and stops moving like that. And then the arms, there are little pegs that the arms will actually plug into. I don't know if you can see that channel in the arm. So that will actually plug into those spots right like that. So there we have that. And the next thing we're going to do is actually take the feet, slide the feet down. There we go. That's a little bit tough, but once it starts moving, and you're good to go. So there we have the connector ports that the leg will plug into. I'm sorry, that the hips will plug into. So there we have the goofy leg. Next up is Pluto, and we're going to take Pluto's head and fold it straight down, and then straighten the head so it's pointing forward. So that actually you could use as a pose. Take the front leg and kind of fold that up like this, and do the same thing on the other side, and then lift his hindquarters up, and this tail is supposed to fold down, and you're supposed to plug it into this opening in the back. And then when you have that done, take the feet and fold them forward like this. So he kind of looks like he's doing the most uncomfortable doggy pose of all time. So here we have the bottom part of the leg. Now, we're going to need to bring in this for the rest of Pluto's transformation. The transformation of the doghouse is actually pretty interesting. The first thing we're going to do is remove the trident sword thing from what is called the kennel in the directions, and then take this silver piece and push up. That will separate this front piece from the rest of the unit. And then take the sides of the doghouse and fold them up, and fold the whole unit up, and there is a pin there that it just pops right off of. Then take the handle here, fold that down, while making sure that these bits are folded up. Open up the front here that looks like a doggy tongue, and you have this super mirror weapon thingy shield. So put that off to the side. We will use that later. Next, what we're going to do is take the remainder bits, and remember, it was originally started out like this. So fold that up and connect that into place. Then take the pieces that are at the top of the house and fold those down, and then fold that whole section up, and then the yellow section down to form the leg, and then you could fold the side skirts into place. So here we have the connector bit for the legs. For Pluto, you'll see this sliding tab in the tab hole here. Just slide that into place. And there we go. And then there are two tabs, and there are two tab holes here on Goofy. Those just plug right into place and snap into place. So we've got the legs we got the legs and hips ready to go. Next up is Sky Minnie. First thing we're going to do is just take the arms and point them forward, like that. Then take the skirt in the front and lift that up all the way up to, or as far up as it will go. And then this is where things get a little weird. You're actually going to want to grab the arms, and that will open up. And you just pull the arms and the legs away from the rest of the body. And then what you want to do is turn the figure around and take this section and fold it up towards her head. And this little silver piece right here, we're actually going to want to fold it such that this pin is sticking straight out from her back. Once you have that peg folded out, this is where things get a little strange. You're going to want to pull the legs out along these little plastic pieces, and then fold the figure, or move the figure such that the head is facing straight back while in parallel with these little feathered wings. And then you want to push the black pieces up into these holsters. Once you do that, you can then take the legs and fold them out, and actually get your finger in here and split the feet open so they form these golden wings. And then you just want to come back in and make sure that the peg is facing towards the golden wings. Now, I realize this looks really silly, And unfortunately, this is the way it has to be. Last but by no means least is Jet Mickey. So what we're going to do is put his arms straight back behind the wings. And then there are these little clips on his forearms. You can see it right where my finger is. We want to fold those out so that they are pointing out away from the figure off to his sides. Once we do that, we take the wings and then we fold them so that they're kind of pointing down, like that. So that's where we start the transformation. Next, take the head and lift it straight up along this hinge and turn it around. Come to the back of the figure, and we are going to take the entire bottom of the figure and turn it around 180 degrees. And then reach between his legs, I know, weird, and fold out the entirety of the front of his legs. Then come to the side skirts and open up the side skirts like that. Once we have the side skirts opened up, we take the feet and turn them so that they are pointing toward the outsides of the figure, and then lift the feet up and actually pull out the feet on these little plastic pieces. And as you fold it up, straighten out the foot, and then peg this little black plastic tube onto the arm, or onto those clips that we were talking about earlier. And that sometimes requires that you just move the figure around such that everything is in place. So there we go. And there we go. Got the head back in the right place. So there we go. The last figure in this set is this tiny little Steamboat. I mean, this thing is like maybe the diameter of a quarter. This is Ace Willie from Steamboat Willie. Steamboat Willie was the first animated short that Mickey Mouse ever showed up in. It was in black and white, and it was kind of crazy. But they managed to get this little steamboat into the toy. And when I say little, I mean little. Like, really tiny. Like, it's the size of the tip of my thumb little. But it's so cool! To give you an idea of the size of the little Ace Willie figure, it's about the same size as MP-10 Optimus Prime's head. To combine Minnie and Mickey Robos, the thing you need to realize is where different things connect. So the peg that we were talking about earlier on the back of Minnie Robo is going to plug into the back of the head of Mickey. And then the pegs just below that are going to plug into just behind where his head was in robot form. And then there are pegs on the sides here, just underneath the wings, that will peg into where the feet are. So what I like to do is I just like to undo the feet just a little bit. That way, that gives me clearance. So we'll peg that stuff in together like that, and then raise the feet up and re-peg them in. If I could see what I'm doing, which would be nice, and peg that into place. And do the same thing over here. And they don't really peg in snugly, unfortunately, though they do peg in. Oh, wait, there we go. Ah, crap. There we go. All right, so there we have the beginnings of the chest. And you can guess where the arms are going to peg into. For the torso to peg into the legs, there is a connector peg under there, a dual slot connector peg, and that will peg in right here. And just getting this lined up, you want to move the front skirt out of the way a little, as much as you can, and then just drop the whole unit on top, snap it in, and then push that front skirt down. For the arms, there is actually a very tiny little notch there that will peg into this spot right here on Donald. So you always want to keep those lined up, otherwise you're going to break the thing. So there's Donald pegged in. Just make sure everything lines up, and Daisy is pegged in. Come to Ace Willie. Open up the bottom of the boat for Ace Willie, and then reach inside and pull down the head or face like that. And then this will peg in right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Kingrobot. This is formed from all of the different robot figures in this set. And I have to say, even with the weird pink Minnie Mouse sticking off of its back, this thing is freaking fantastic. It just looks absolutely awesome, and I am so glad I got a hold of this. The transformation, yeah, it is a little bit finicky, but the end result is really cool. You have robot Disney characters all forming into a giant robot of justice and happiness, I guess. But it's very, very cool looking. Now, the only real issue with the figure is it is incredibly top-heavy, and it does have a little bit of an issue with falling over towards the back. But on the right shelf, it will be just fine. Now, you may notice that the accessories that you get, the two weapons, can't be held with the fists we have equipped right now. Well, thankfully, Bandai included extra fists. Now, they're just grabby fists, and I will be attaching them here in a second, and they're typical just pop them off and pop them back on. But overall, I think this set is really, really good looking. And I'm going to show you what he looks like with his weapons now. With the magical mirror shield and the trident of truth, we'll call it, this figure looks truly formidable. Now, Poseability is a little bit affected just by the overall combination and these front wings here on the chest. I did have to bend them in a little bit in order to move the arms, but you can move the arms. I just really choose not to. The head is also poseable, and the head just looks really, really cool. It looks like something out of a Chogokin or traditional Japanese robot. I'm just absolutely astounded by this set. Even though I adore this set, at 200 millimeters tall, or 8.7 inches, he's still smaller than MP10 Prime. And he does cost significantly more than MP10 Prime, which I have right here. Prime was about $100 plus shipping. This guy was about $160 with shipping. So you're definitely paying a premium price. But when else are you going to get a giant Disney robot combiner? Even though this figure has a very high asking price, I think it is totally worth the price of admission. I've very rarely been gobsmacked by a figure, and this one has done it to me. This is just an absolute joy to behold, and I've had so much fun playing with it, putting it together, and filming it for you guys. I think this is a great, great figure. The overall effect of this figure, though, for the price, it is a little bit on the small side, personally, but like I said, it's totally worth it. So guys, I got this from HobbyLink Japan. TF Source has it, BigBadToyStore.com has it, Ami has it, Hobby Search has it, and I think HLJ also has it still in stock. If you want to get a hold of this figure, I suggest getting it now, because I am sure that this thing is going to run out of stock really quickly.